Today I'm going to show you the inside of my carnivore fridge. Your carnivore fridge, you say? Yes. Also, my fridge 1.5 years ago went fully carnivore and now is only accepting species appropriate foods. So it's no longer accepting plant-based foods. Well, I'm glad about that because we all know what kind of mess that can be. Foods basically start to ferment and rot just like they do in our guts. And you'll end up with brown salad leaves, black bananas, black mushrooms, green lemons, cucumbers that have become like water balloons. Well, none of that in a carnivore fridge. If you take a little bit of care, it will be the cleanest fridge ever. Well, other things changed as well. Since I am carnivore, I am only eating once or twice a day, so I don't need to visit the fridge that often. And because the fridge started to annoy me, I'm here in an open kitchen directly connected to my living room, I decided to get rid of the fridge and move it to the storage and laundry room, so that I'm no longer disturbed by all the noise. I can even hear it right now. It's complaining. Well, enough said. We have to go there. I'll take you there and show you what we can find in this carnivore fridge. Let's go. Well, there we are. This is the laundry and storage room. I see that I still have to do the laundry, and the storage room could use some tidying up, but in the end it's the storage room, so not too much of a problem. Let's have a look at the fridge, the carnivore fridge. Right now the fridge is quite full actually. Sometimes the fridge is almost empty and stores only a little bit of beef tallow. Maybe some other fats and dairy. But today not. There's quite some meat, and that is because yesterday I went to the butcher to load up on the meat. So let's start at the top. Things are not ordered in chronological order or in order of importance, neither in alphabetical order. So let's just start at the top and see what kind of things we come across. So the first thing that we see here is this bowl with undefined pieces of meat. Well, it doesn't really look that appetizing, but I will tell you that it actually is. These are slices of ribeye. So yesterday I bought a 4-pound piece of ribeye and cut it into slices of about 1 pound. And then they are now curing in vinegar, and on top there is a little bit of salt right now. The vinegar basically pre-digests the meat, so if you would have a closer look, I'll try to edit that in. You'll see that the collagen in the meat is starting to melt away and it's turning basically into gelatin. Personally, I also like the slight acidic taste of the vinegar. It has quite a particular taste. Then next to it, there are some flanken steaks. I cut those out of a bigger piece, and each one of these is about 3/4 to 1 pound. They are salted a little bit on the outside, and this is just another way to preserve the meat for a bit longer time because, well, I am drowning in meat right now. And then here we got a cut of meat that I eat a lot, almost on a daily basis, usually from the freezer. It's what the French would call côte de bœuf, and I'm not sure what it's called in the US. It would be something like a bone-in prime rib, probably, but let me know in the comments if it has another name. And I like this because it has a very thick fat cap, and in the middle you'll find a large piece of tender meat with a nice marbling. So it's very tasty, and you don't need to add any butter or tallow. So you can grill it in a pan, but I also often just drop it in the air fryer for some time and then bake it until it's at least blue rare. And then Here next to it we got a jar of homemade tallow. Well, if you look at it like this, you'll see that it has a very yellowish color. So that's very much unlike the tallow that you would find in the supermarket, which often is not even pure tallow. It has been thoroughly filtered and probably contains a lot of additives. But even at a trusted butcher shop, you would typically find a much whiter tallow, because also the butcher will filter it a lot more. And that's not the case here, because if you will look at the bottom, you'll see that all the gristle, let's call it like that, sank to the bottom. So my way of preparing this tallow is very simple. I take beef suet, I cut it into pieces, and then let it melt in the pan, and then I use a relatively coarse steel mesh to filter the bigger pieces out. And the rest of the pieces will fall to the bottom, so you still get a considerably clean tallow here on the top. And just for comparison, the tallow from the supermarket would almost look like this over here, like this lid. Then we got something that doesn't belong here. It has a very nice package. It suggests that it's very healthy, but it's a very wrong food. And a very suggestive packaging, and there's only one thing that they got right, or almost right, and that's the nutrition score. It should actually read E over here. Well, hopefully that will at least tell a lot of people that they should not buy this. And then the same to some degree holds for this guy over here. It's also here just because I made a YouTube movie about it. As a plant food, it's relatively benign. I think if you want to and you can handle it, then by all means add it to your meat-based dish. Me personally, I don't do that, so I leave it here for somebody else. Then we go to the fats and dairy department. We've got some grass-fed Kerrygold butter, the famous one from Ireland. And for comparison, next to it, let's have a look at this raw milk butter from a local farm. Again, a very yellow product. If you would open up the Kerrygold package, you would almost think the Kerrygold butter is white, which it isn't. So this cow has been on a very good diet. This yellow color comes from the beta-carotene from the grass, so that's a very good sign. It might also have to do a little bit with the fact that it's a seasonal food, and the grass-fed butter is obtained especially during spring and in summer. And this Kerrygold butter, well, it might be from a different time of the year. Then we've got some feta cheese over here. I can go easily for weeks without cheese, but sometimes I am craving cheese, and then my body is probably telling me that I need specific nutrients, calcium or who knows. It's a relatively good cheese, I'd say. It's A2 cheese for who cares, and it's made from half goat and half sheep's milk, approximately. Then we got some leftover tallow over here. I could still use it for baking, but to be on the safe side, I decided to use it elsewhere in the bathroom or elsewhere in the household. Then on the next shelf, we got some more experiments going on. I have another slice of ribeye, and I salted it. That's actually the first time I'm doing this. And this piece of meat is aging right now in the fridge. So yet another way to preserve meat for a bit longer time. We will see how this ends up. And also here, that's another bowl of curing ribeye slices in vinegar. And that vinegar is this one for curing meat. Of course, I don't use fancy apple cider vinegar. Just this one of a somewhat natural origin. And here is also a bottle of apple cider vinegar. I sometimes add a spoon in a glass of water, but I don't use it that often actually. Then we've got the vegetable compartment. Well, this carnivore fridge, does it contain a vegetable compartment? Yes. I store lemons. So actually, I don't eat any plant-based foods except for this one. I tend to add half a slice of lemon in my glass of water in the morning. I feel that it wakes me up. I like that. And if there's any doubt of not getting enough vitamin C on the carnivore diet, well, then I don't have to worry about it. I think half a slice of lemon will provide more than enough. Of course, I'm using organic lemons. And a few weeks ago I was in a supermarket and they didn't even sell organic lemons. That surprised me a lot, because in cookbooks and on the internet you'll find all these nice recipes of cakes where you can use lemon zest. Well, those cakes are already toxic, but if you are also going to load them with glyphosates, then it gets even worse. And then, well, let's not forget the most important compartment of the fridge, which contains the insulin. As you can see, I have quite a stockpile. Each of these boxes lasts me about 2 months, so I easily have a half year's worth of insulin. And that's very nice, of course, in case insulin production stops for any outside reason. If there would be world disaster, in the worst case, I can use this past expiration date if I want. You can store it for quite some time anyway. Then let's go to the freezer. Oh, and well, here is a leftover from the past. That's very interesting. I think it should read 2 times no. No fruits and no vegetables in this fridge. Well, except for this one over here. That surprises me a little bit. They advise to not store lemons in the fridge. Well, that's not my experience, because if I keep them outside, they are organic lemons. They will be moldy in a matter of days. In 2 or 3 days you will have a green lemon. So now the freezer. And I think I have to improvise a little bit. It's loaded with all kinds of meat, so I will have to put it on a display for you, and I'll be right back.